Okay, the care pathway. Let me share my screen. All right. So everybody knows what the homepage looks like, and where you're going to find this pathway, you can either go to the specialty of palliative care, and you'll see that palliative care serves up the information a little bit differently than other specialties, because you land on teams, which is a different tab, and it'll show you the different information about each team. But up at the top, brand new, advanced care planning care pathway. So let's click into it. And here's what it looks like you've seen. And so as they've gone through, there's different options in terms of when you bring these things up. And in truth, I don't end up bringing it up with healthy adults like I should. And the honest truth is, when I finally get around to bringing it up, I am going to probably use these three things. It's probably not going to be with healthy adults. I wish I could say it was, and maybe it will, but when it's probably going to be when there's a health event or a chronic illness. I think I'm still going to use these three: the how to get started video, the choosing a substitute decision maker information, and the My Voice Easy Read workbook. And now when I realize, okay, I want to actually get this patient started on something. And if I want to have the conversation guide, it's there for me. So quick link, I'll open it in a new window. So there's a conversation guide about talking to them, what the topics I need to bring up are about substitute decision maker, their preferences, their wishes. So a little bit of a conversation guide for me. And here's the documentation tools, quick links to those if I want to have the substitute decision maker record or the ACP record that Andrew just showed us, and I could open those up. And then if I want to email them some information after we've spoken, I think I'm going to probably pick to do these three most of the time. And so then I'm going to hit email the bundle of all three of those. And I think you guys have seen this before. When you're going to email something to a patient from Pathways, it's now automatically attached the choosing a substitute decision maker overview and video, the getting started video, and the My Voice simplified guide. And then I'm going to type the patient's email, or I'm going to copy and paste it out of the EMR. My browser remembers that I always put my email here, but normally it would be the patient's. And remember, for those of you who haven't used this feature of Pathways, the email is going to go to the patient from a no reply email at Pathways. So you're not going to be stuck in a two-way conversation with the patient. This is one way, but because it came from me using my account, and actually I'll just show you, here's what it looks like. Dr. Tracy Monk invites you to explore Pathways resources. And in this case, say I'd sent the COVID thing, there's the information we talked about. So that's what it's going to look like when I send it to the patient. And then I can add an optional thing like, here's the information we talked about. I hit email to recipient. And so now you notice I get a little copy to clipboard opportunity. And so all these things highlighted in yellow, I can click copy to clipboard. And then if I have my EMR open, I'm going to be able to just paste into the EMR. These are the things the patient gave their consent for me to email these things to them. And these are the three things I sent. And when I send a patient things like this, I make a point of saying to them, next time we talk, I'm going to be asking you about this. And I want to know which of those things you thought was most useful. Which things, did you feel you were able to make a start on? But I alert them to the fact that I'm going to be asking about it. Or I might say, and that you can choose, let's talk. One of the options I could have chosen when I sent the email was to actually say, tell me what, so if I hit, let me just hit a different email thing here for a second. I could have said, please read and complete before your next appointment, or book for follow-up. So I could specifically add that in my message that we're going to talk about it, but I also tell them while we're talking.
Dr. Monk, Cindy, Cindy put the link in, but Prav is saying that she's in Pathways, but there was no link like there was in yours.
No link, how?
To the advanced care planning link when
It's
you
there.
first one.
Oh, for sure, it's there. So if you go, the other way to get to it is to go to end of life care. And it'll be there as a button up at the top as well. Advanced care planning, end of life. And then back to, if you had chosen to get there from palliative care, if you just click on this, it's there and it'll open up for you. If you click on that, that should work for everybody.
Okay, Cindy's also saying it might only be viewable for Fraser Northwest, so maybe that's what it is too. I don't know.
Where's the person from who's not seeing it?
So Tracy, I'm from Burnaby, and the teams show up, but I don't have that advanced care planning.
Okay, so
Care
you know
pack.
what? Navigate over to Community and Health Authority Services.
Okay.
And now you should see this button up at the top.
No, I don't have that. So maybe it is something.
It
to
shouldn't
do.
be specific. I'll
Dr.
fix
Monk, I
that.
think-
Cindy, do you
Yeah,
want
we
to
just
see?
have to. It's only viewable by those who are defaulted to Fraser Northwest Division. So if
It should be it should be made a shareable content item for all Fraser Health. I thought we had set it up that way, but can you add that now? Make it
for sure.
viewable for the other. Yeah, so we'll fix that by the end of the webinar.
Thank you.
Viewable for all Fraser Health. I think you can do that as a regular admin, Cindy, right? Or do I have to do it as a super? Do we have to get Melissa to do it as a super? Anyway, we'll get that sorted.
Yeah, I just checked. I can't do that. I think it's either Melissa or
Okay.
yourself.
I'll do it by the end of the meeting once it's not my turn to talk.
Thanks.
But it will make it visible for everybody. I think you could, no, actually, no. Okay. So back to the table. So up at the top, you'll notice there's these quick link buttons as well to conversation guides, information, patient information about advanced care planning and the advanced care planning forums. So let's just show you what these take you to pre-filtered pages of pathways that are specific for the thing. So in this case, it was physician tools for serious illness conversations. So there's these two are basically the same content. It's the Fraser Health version for substitute decision maker and the serious illness conversation guide from the Ariadne Labs. The same basic questions. That's what the serious illness conversation guide looks like. And then this one is the is for patients to start to have serious illness conversations, thinking about what matters to them. And I actually quite like that one too. And I should make that one emailable. I have to make that emailable. That one you could do, I think. Cindy, can you turn that one emailable? Okay.
Yeah, I'll try.
It should have an envelope beside it to be emailable. All right, so back to here. So that was the physician conversation guides. Then if you click into patient information about advanced care planning, it's quite a long section of patient information here, you know, lots of different choices. And I think that's why it's good to have some favorites saved. And so I always choose a few favorites, and the way you favorite an item, for those of you who haven't favorited anything before. So let's say I wanted the, you know, what is the most, who should do it? I could favorite that just by clicking on the red heart or the black heart. It turns it into a red heart, and now it's a favorite. And you could go up into the favorites tab and see all of your favorites. And if you wanted to email items from a page like this, you can choose, you know, I'm going to send both of these to the patient and email them. So if you had a different set of things you wanted to email to the patient that aren't the pre-selected bundles that we have here, you could just go straight to the patient information about advanced care planning and then choose the things you want to bundle. But I think it's really handy to have right up here at the top, these three in a ready-made bundle that you can email from there. And then a quick, reference to the Speak tool as a conversation guide for earlier on. And then we get into the more serious illnesses, a patient with a declining prognosis, and we get the serious illness conversation guide. And we get things like what is the most, and should I get CPR, talking with your loved ones. And again, here you can hit the bundled email of all four of those to send to a patient. So it's really, I think it's handy to have a few pre-selected bundles. And as I said, I think I would use this one commonly later on. To be honest, with the healthy adult, the one thing I'm going to talk to them about is organ donation. And this, I tend to forget that one. And so you could take a look at what the organ donation information is if you want to make sure that you're comfortable with it. And it's the health link information about organ donation. And if you want to email it to the patient from the pathway, you can do it straight there. Or you could do, if you just wanted to do organ donation, you could type in the search, and you notice how I get a few things in the search, but in this case, it's patient information I want. So I could narrow to patient information. Then I'm going to go to organ donation, and I can hit the email that to the patient. But back to the care pathway. Yeah, I think if you're actually, if you're in the midst of a complex care visit, and I think the complex care visits, as Kristen said, annual physicals, we don't do annual physicals really for a healthy person. It's not an evidence-based intervention to do an annual physical on a healthy person. But if a person, is coming in for their complex care visit or for their check for their diabetes or their CHF, and you have a little bit more time, it's great to open this up and to have both all the tools you need as a physician to have a conversation, your documentation tools and the forms, and information to email them, all available together in a bundle. And then the advanced care planning forms. So if we open that one up, you'll see it takes us to a pre-filtered page that has those records that Andrew and Carrie were talking about, the advanced care planning record, the identification of the substitute decision maker, and the most form. And then here's the cover sheet for the most form. And for those of you that have Oscar as your EMR, you'll notice in Fraser-North West, we have EMR forms, and that you could select Oscar here. So I got to that by going up here to forms and EMR forms, and then Oscar. And you'll see that all of those forms, so let's narrow it down to palliative. There's a bunch of there's the most form. And I don't think actually that the advanced care planning record and the substitute decision maker one have been made into Oscar forms yet, but I sent John the app a message during the meeting to say those should get made into Oscar forms. So if you're looking for the form to have it populate in your EMR, if you have Oscar, that would be, that's another possibility, another way of filling in the forms. So let's just go back to palliative care. So here we are in Teams. You can launch the care pathway out of here. You can launch the care pathway from here. There's, in terms of community and health authority services, here's again, the information about these guys, they're the Fraser Health Advanced Care Planning team, Carrie and Andrew and their team. And you could navigate to physician resources from here, patient information from here, and forms from here again. So there's many ways to get to the information, but I think all of that highlights why it's really nice to actually have it all together in one place in this nice 2-page table based on the different phases of illness that somebody's at. So I think I've covered everything. Yeah, I think I covered all of the stuff here. Probably need some practice to do it in a more organized way, but fortunately, the table itself is organized and the materials are there. And the little, the talking person, those are conversation guides. These are your documentation forms. And these are your, so those are the physician resources. These are the patient resources and how you can email them. Yeah.
Tracy, you are a Pathways queen. Thank you for that awesome navigation.